Did you know that people who suffer from schizophrenia have different brain structures than neurotypical people? Everyone's brain has something called gray matter, and this gray matter helps us to keep our nerve cells safe that are in charge of moving our muscles, our ability to use our senses, and more. And after doing a lot of brain images, they actually found that those who suffer with schizophrenia have less gray matter around their temporal and frontal lobes. So, if you don't know what the temporal lobe is in charge of, it's in charge of your memory, your ability to comprehend words, how you process emotions, your senses, and your ability to recognize faces, things, and more. Whereas your frontal lobe is in charge of using logic, judgment, making sound decisions, or being creative. It's also in charge of your ability to understand social norms, your executive functioning, such as organization, your attention span, your self control, memory, and more. And the frontal lobe is also in charge of your voluntary usage of muscles and your ability to learn and recall info. Now, sadly, as time goes on, gray matter loss continues as you age. So the more that you lose, the worse the symptoms can get. So the fact that those with schizophrenia already have less gray matter means that their symptoms might get worse with time. Um, and they also found that white matter around the brain seems to be damaged or altered, usually as well. And white matter contains nerve fibers and nerve cells, which are important basically to communicate with the rest of your body. So being able to like move your arm, being able to smell or hear or whatever it is. And lastly, it was noted that those who suffer from schizophrenia usually are more sensitive to the effects of dopamine. So this is the feel good neurotransmitter. So if you've ever like gotten high or if you've ever like felt really good, it's probably because your brain is releasing a lot of dopamine. It's feeling the effects of dopamine. But those with schizophrenia usually are more sensitive to dopamine. So this causes them to have hallucinations and delusions. And there's another neurotransmitter that actually is noted to be very high with schizophrenia, which is glutamate. And glutamate helps with perception and thinking as well as memory and learning. So those with schizophrenia are noted to have too much of glutamate and they are too sensitive to dopamine. Because, you know, if you have too much of anything, it can really cause problems. So those with schizophrenia are noted as having more difficulties in things like memory and learning. They're usually, you know, that's why they have those hallucinations and things along those lines. Um, and I really wonder if psychedelics can like help undo and regrow the brain since psilocybin is known to be able to help with like neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is basically, and I've explained this in a different episode, but basically it's the fact that whenever you're a child and you're learning a new language, usually you're able to learn that new language a lot easier because you have more neuroplasticity because basically all the train tracks, your neural pathways in your brain haven't been used yet and they haven't been able to be like assigned for certain things yet. And psilocybin helps you to regrow those neural pathways by helping with that neuroplasticity and be able to like rewire those neural pathways and just make it easier. But um, you just learned some neuroscience. So, congratulations. Look at you. If you were able to keep up with me about that, I've loved learning about the brain. But yeah, if you ever want to understand why people who suffer from schizophrenia might act a little bit differently, it's because they have less gray matter. It's because their white matter has been altered with in some form or fashion. And it's also because the two neurotransmitters that are for feeling good and for memory and learning might be a little bit messed up. So, fun fact.